Torchwood. Outside the government, beyond the police. Tracking down alien life on Earth and arming the human race against the future. The 21st century is when everything changes, and you've got to be ready. Howdy neighbors, David here. And today on Boondock Stallions, we're going to be taking a look at possible locations for Torchwood 4. And if you're unfamiliar with Torchwood, I am so sorry that you don't have the BBC or a BritBox account. Please go to Amazon, get yourself hooked up. It'll change your life, I promise. And then, until then, like my channel, subscribe. We'll have some fun, make some videos, make some popcorn. It'll be great. Now, Torchwood Institute was founded during the episode Tooth and Claw during Season 2 of Doctor Who. It was founded by Queen Victoria in 1879 to defend Earth against supernatural and or extraterrestrial threats, which, sadly, more often than not, included the Doctor himself. Or herself, if you're in the new canon and you like the new Doctor, which I do, Jodie Whittaker, you rock. So the Torchwood Institute divided itself into 4 different factions. There was Torchwood 1 in London, Torchwood 2 in Glasgow, Torchwood 3 in Cardiff, and Torchwood 4, which was lost somewhere, and Captain Jack was sure would turn up again sooner or later. But it never gets mentioned again, it never shows up, and the show's been off the air now for 10 years, so what gives? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have finally figured out the answer to that question. But before I give my theory, I want to give another theory that a Facebook follower named James Kendall brought to my attention on Facebook just the other day. Now, James Kendall's theory is extremely logical, and I mean super logical. Like, the fact that I missed it is killing me inside. It's killing me. I want to die just a little, but I'm so happy that he saw this and gave me his little bit to share with me. And it doesn't really change any of my theory. If anything, it adds to it and lets me know where I could have started from. So, traditionally, Torchwood 1, based in London. Torchwood 2 was in Glasgow, Scotland. Torchwood 3 was in Cardiff, Wales. And Torchwood 4 was unknown. But since it was founded in 1879 by Queen Victoria and was part of the Empire, it would only make sense that Torchwood 4 was in Ireland. And the reason that it was lost and not found is because of good old Easter uprisings in 1916. Get your years right. 1916s, the Easter risings when Ireland took independence from the UK completely. So that would have been a perfect time for Torchwood to have been lost and then not found because Cardiff and Torchwood 1 are still part of the Empire and Ireland isn't. So, voila, geography. Genius. Pure genius. It's so simple. I'm so upset that I missed it, James Kendall. You're a genius, and thank you a million times for adding to my theory. This one's for you. Now, moving on to my theory. So, as I said before, Torchwood was basically founded to protect Earth from extraterrestrial and or supernatural threats, which included the Doctor. But that was mostly just a front. If we're going to be perfectly honest with each other, Queen Victoria founded it to investigate the Doctor and all of his companions. And as far as I know, Torchwood and Unit are the 2 groups really known for pursuing the Doctor and his companions. We saw Kate Stewart had in fact been interrogating every single one of the Doctor's companions and then wiping their minds after they'd encountered the Doctor, and done it to a few companions on multiple occasions over the years. So those are really the 2 main groups that follow the Doctor around. But there was another one. And this group came about hunting the Doctor and his companions and were even sort of, kind of, not really infiltrated by Torchwood themselves. Do you know who I'm talking about? Are you familiar with what is canonically the worst episode of modern Doctor Who? Love and Monsters. Now, I say Love and Monsters is canonically the worst episode of Doctor Who, and it's really not. The worst episode of Doctor Who came right after it on the playlist. It's called Fear Her. Watch it, hate it, it's awful, whatever. But Love and Monsters has a group known as the London Investigation and Detective Agency, or Linda for short. Now, it's completely insane to think that Torchwood would associate itself with Linda, but it's a front. Nobody would take them seriously. Don't you understand? They would be like, oh, they're Linda. Of course we're going to let them do whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, if Torchwood had all the clearance and access they needed before they changed their name, they could have made new badges and identification that read Linda instead of Torchwood, and nobody really would have questioned it because nobody knows who Linda is. Nobody cares about Linda. So who would have been in charge of Linda? Well, I thought about it. You see, if y'all remember the Absorbaloff from the episode Love and Monsters, he came prepared to infiltrate the Linda group for searching out the Doctor. He had detailed Torchwood files on him. Where did he get detailed Torchwood files? Unless he was responsible for destroying Torchwood 4. He took out Torchwood 4. He absorbed all of them. It's what he does. He's an Absorbaloff. Yes, he absorbs. And so he absorbed everybody at Torchwood 4, took their files, and went out on a hunt. Not hearing anything back from Torchwood 4, somebody at either Torchwood 1 or 2 would have sent out an investigative team to see who it was and see what had happened. And I believe that that person is Petronella Osgood. If you don't know who Petronella Osgood is, she first made her appearance in The Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary special of Doctor Who. Now, Osgood doesn't really have much of a backstory. We know her sister. We know a little bit of her family. It's actually rumored that she is niece of Sergeant Tom Osgood, who was UNIT's technical advisor back in the day when I think John Pertwee was the Doctor. And it was just a nice way to tie New Who to Old Who. But there's really not much as far as her history goes. And she seems like she would have fit in with that Linda lot perfectly. And it's a perfect undercover disguise. She would be part of UNIT and have access to everything she would need, just as if she was a member of Torchwood, and she'd be able to report and keep a team. And I think I even know who another member of her team could possibly be. Another Doctor Who patron, Adam Mitchell. Adam Mitchell first made his appearance in the 2005 episode Dalek and followed into The Long Game before being left on his home, or at his home with his mother, after traveling to the future and having his brain implanted with a chip that made him a supercomputer. He's a perfect candidate to work for Torchwood. Like, I don't even know how he didn't make it into the series the first time. He has to live a quiet life. He can't do anything. And Torchwood's the kind of institute that would bring him on, hire him, let him work for the company, see what he'd be willing to let them do while alive, and then if he dies in the line of duty or old age, his body instantly becomes Torchwood property. They could dissect him and see how that thing really works and get a little bit of arming the human race for the future started with Bruno. I'm sorry, with Adam. Bruno's the actor's real name. And now would be a perfect time for Torchwood to come back onto screen. I mean, there's so much going on in the world that's just getting so weird. Torchwood seems like it would be right at home in 2020. So I think that it should come back, and they could even steal some of the Doctor's companions. I've always felt that Yaz from the current seasons of Doctor Who, being a peace officer herself, would be kind of like a modern Gwen Cooper character to the Torchwood cast. And I mean, they do need a new team, so hashtag Team Torchwood. Well, Stallions, that's my Torchwood video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like, a subscribe, share me with some of your friends on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I'm all over the place. It's awesome. So we needed a set day for videos such as this one. So I've decided that Saturday will be video uploads for my weekly random theories and speculations and whatnot. Thursday nights will be dedicated purely to movie reviews, and I'm starting this week with Child's Play, the original Child's Play movie on Blu-ray. We're going to review it and the other 6 sequels that came, including the remake, and why the Child's Play series is the most superior horror franchise of all time. Sorry, Jason, you're my boy, but it's true. And I know you're probably wondering why I decided to start with Child's Play. It's only because they just released the trailer for the Child's Play series that'll be based on these movies, and it'll be starring most of the same cast, writers, and producers, which I think is one of the main reasons that the show or the movie is superior to other horror franchises. But aside from that, all of my friends and people that know me most are like, David, why haven't you done a Star Wars video? You are a Star Wars freak. And well, yeah, that's true. And if it were up to me, if this decision was up to me at all, and I mean, it is, it's my channel, but I would have started with Star Wars. But Chucky is the big news on the horror front, and I'm a little upset because Texas Frightmare Weekend, aside from being postponed for 6 months, was straight up canceled until next year, and I'm just going to be horror movieing it out here at home. So bear with me. We're going to do some horror, some comedy. 10 weeks of Star Wars is coming up. Like and subscribe. Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.